You can make a lot of mistakes when you're blogging, even if you're not a beginner, and these mistakes could be costing you traffic. Maybe you've been blogging for a while and you feel like you're finally starting to get the hang of things. You're starting to get traffic from Pinterest, you're writing consistent blog posts, and you are ready to take things to the next level. You're likely getting some traffic at this point, but you're looking to scale past what you've already been doing. So in this video, we'll be going over 6 higher level strategies to make sure that you are getting the most blog traffic possible. These are not going to be basic tips like post more and be consistent. It's going to be an actual real strategy for the above beginner blogger. Let's get started. Now, the first mistake you could be making is that you are not validating your content ideas. When you are coming up with a blog post idea, are you writing just whatever it is that you want to write, or are you actually researching and making sure that content is wanted and needed by a specific audience? If you only ever write about what you think people are searching for without actually doing the research to validate that content, then no one is going to click on your posts and your traffic is going to suffer. Or maybe you are doing keyword research, but you're targeting keywords that have no real search volume behind them. You might think you're doing the right thing by researching keywords, but if you find one that you really want to write a post on and it has no search volume, it doesn't really matter if you're going to be ranking on the first page of Google because no one is looking up that term in order to be able to find your post. So, what is the easy fix for getting more traffic? You need to validate your blog post idea before you start to write it. Now, my typical process for coming up with a blog post idea usually goes in one of 2 ways. Usually I'll start with a blog post idea that I am really excited to write about. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is go to Google and I'm going to put in those key terms, put in a title for that blog post and see what comes up. I'm going to be looking for what is the way that people are wording this question using the suggested search. And then I'm going to see how other people that are ranking are titling their blog posts. I'm going to be looking at what are they writing about, what points are they hitting, what points did they miss that I would like to say, and then I'm going to be doing the exact same thing on Pinterest. And what I'm doing is researching the way the audience is framing the question that I'm answering. You always want to think of the audience first when writing a post because the angle that you come at with your post is what matters most. In other words, you might have titled your post one way and focused on one keyword, but your audience is actually looking up a slightly different question with a slightly different keyword. And if you don't have those 2 things matching and you are not going to rank for the keyword they're looking for instead of the one that you want to rank for, they're never going to be able to find your post. So sometimes you just need to phrase your blog post idea in a different way so that way you can still write about what you want, but also get the traffic that you're looking for with the correct keywords. Now, this is the basic research that you can do if you don't have any tools to do more in-depth keyword research. Or you can go even deeper and use tools like Keyword to Pin for Pinterest, which is a brand new tool that I am trying out. Or you could use something like Keysearch or Ubersuggest for Google keywords and their search volumes. And that is how you can take your research to the next level. Because it's one thing to make sure that your blog post is titled and angled at answering the right question, but just because you type something into Google and you get search results doesn't mean there's any search intent or real volume behind that keyword, which is where those keyword tools come in handy because you can actually see the search volume of the things that you're ranking for. Now, I've been testing out Keyword to Pin for Pinterest so far, which is a tool that I've been really loving because one of the big problems with Pinterest is you can search up a keyword, but you honestly have no idea how many people are actually searching up that keyword because just like Google, there may be results that come up, but that doesn't mean that people are actively searching for that term. So you could be writing a blog post and using keywords that no one actually cares about, and then you won't get any traffic from Pinterest and you've wasted your time. Now, Keyword to Pin is a paid tool, but I'm actually working with Keyword to Pin and I have gotten you guys a discount code if you are interested in trying out this tool, which I do recommend if you are trying to get traffic from Pinterest. So if you want to try out Keyword to Pin and you'd like to get a discount, use my code Sarah Marie at checkout and you're going to get 20% off your purchase, which is really cool. Now, the second blogging mistake that could be costing you traffic is you are not using content umbrellas. And this just pretty much means that your content is random and not connected in some sort of way. Your blog and the posts on it need to have some cohesion and they need to flow nicely if you want to ever get some topical authority. You want Google to recognize your blog as the go-to for whatever niche that you are in. And that is going to allow Google to trust you and rank you in search, which is going to get you more traffic. And the same goes for Pinterest as well, or really any platform that you post on. If you aren't consistently putting out related content that people are continuing to check out, Pinterest and Google are not going to rank you because why would they? So, how do you make content umbrellas? You really want to plan out your content so that you can interlink your posts and they really build off of each other. If each post you have is standalone and doesn't really reference anything else on your blog, you're gonna have trouble keeping people on your blog. But if you plan out, say, 4 different posts and they all build off of each other and they can all interlink with each other, then as somebody's reading your post, you can mention one of the other 4 in there. And if they want to learn more about that topic, they can then click on that post and go somewhere else and read that one. And then if they see something else that they like, they can click on it, and so on and so forth. You're basically just keeping them in a content loop, so they're reading more than one post on your blog and getting decently good information from it. And this not only makes it easier for people, but it also makes it easier for Google to crawl your site. And if you don't have a good content strategy, Google traffic is going to take a while. And with Pinterest, traffic won't be instant, but it could be faster. I've done a lot of videos on Pinterest strategy for bloggers, so there is some help here if you are brand new to Pinterest. But if you are less of a beginner when it comes to Pinterest and you would like more personal and professional help, I do offer monthly Pinterest management services. I've been offering monthly Pinterest management for bloggers, content creators, e-commerce, all of that for years, and I've really helped people grow their accounts and get more traffic to their blogs and services. Now, this is really a service for people who are mid to high level bloggers who have had some traffic with Pinterest, but they're ready to take it to the next level, or you're just kind of sick of managing your Pinterest yourself and you'd rather somebody else do it so that you can focus on your content, which is completely valid because Pinterest can be a time suck if you don't know what you're doing. And honestly, it's not the most important thing to focus on because you could be writing posts and I could be doing the social media for it. It is really a great service to start expanding your business. I will leave a link down below in the description if you want to check out my services, but availability is pretty limited month to month, so make sure to check it out if you are interested in getting any of my help with Pinterest. Now, the 4th mistake is your blog posts are poorly written. One thing about blogging is traffic is not everything. You could have a ton of traffic, but if people are bouncing off your site really, really quickly, it does not matter. Have you ever taken a deeper look into your Google Analytics and actually seen the amount of time that people are spending on your blog posts? Because that is a really important metric to how good your writing actually is. If they are jumping from your blog in 30 seconds or less, what good is that really doing you? Now, that is a sign of low engagements on your post. People are not staying, which means they are not clicking links, they are not buying things, they are not signing up for your offers, and they're not staying long enough to really even learn anything or ever feel like they should come back to your blog, which makes all of your efforts for writing that post completely useless. So how do you fix that? You have to find the disconnect. Take a minute and read your post as if you were a brand new reader and have just landed on this blog for the very first time. If the majority of people are leaving in 30 seconds or less, generally that means they're not even finishing with your intro before they're already gone, which could mean a few things. The intro did not match the expectation of the title, the intro was too long and boring, or if the intro was short and they did get to the first point of your blog post, that means it didn't capture their attention and they still left. So you have got to decide what the problem could be and then fix it. Also, as a side note, check your site speed if this is happening, because some people, if they're leaving super quick, they might just be clicking on your blog and it's not loading fast enough for them, so they're just leaving before they even get your blog to load in the first place. That was a big problem with me until I fixed my site speed, and then I watched my numbers of the people staying on my blog going up a lot. So definitely check that out if people are leaving really quick too. But whatever the problem might be, you want to fix it on all of your blog posts, because Pinterest and Google both pay attention to how long people are staying on your blogs, because it's called a bounce rate. So if Pinterest sees that someone clicked on your pin and they bounced right back to Pinterest really quick, then they're going to stop recommending your posts because for some reason people didn't like your content. So why would Pinterest continue to promote it? And Google is going to be the exact same way, because with the analytics, they're tracking how long people are on your blog. And if they're seeing that it's not that great, then why would they put you on the first page of Google? We call this short clicks versus long clicks. You want more long clicks because that is going to prove that people like your content, they're staying on it, they're reading it. And also it helps when you interlink your post, because Google can see how many pages one person has visited in one session. So if they are visiting multiple pages in a session, that means your content was good enough to keep them for long enough, keep them clicking around, and that sends a good signal to Google. So that's why you want to do both of these things when you are trying to get more blog traffic and improving your blog. Ideally, I want people to stay for a minute to a minute and 30 seconds, if not longer, but it is hard to keep people's attention. So a minute to a minute 30 is my sweet spot. That is what I like to see when I'm looking at the bounce rate on my blog. Now, your 5th problem could be you have no traffic system. You are simply relying on luck and not distribution. When you send out a blog post, it is more than just posting that blog post and hoping that you get traffic. You have to actively go out and get traffic to those blog posts. And if you don't have a traffic system, you are neglecting the most important part, You just put all of this work into writing a killer blog post, and then you move on to the next one without actually promoting the first one so that nobody would ever see all of the hard work you just put in. So with every single post, you are starting from zero. And the easiest way to fix this is to create a content distribution system. So where do you share your post after it's first posted? You could create 3 to 5 pins and schedule them onto Pinterest. Send out an email blast with a link to your new post. If you're doing YouTube or short form content, you can turn it into a video of some sort. If you're doing a podcast, you can turn it into a podcast. You could make an Instagram post about it. And these are all just ideas, of course. You don't have to be on every single platform. Like if you don't like Facebook, you don't have to do Facebook. But you want to at least get your post out onto all of the different platforms that you are currently and actively using and trying to grow so that everybody in your audience can know that you just posted a blog post. And you are making sure that you are sharing content where it makes sense to do so. At the very least, you should be posting on Pinterest and creating at minimum 3 to 5 pins when you first post a blog post, and then share it more than that. But at least the first time you post it, you should be putting out a couple pins for your blog. And hopefully you have an email list as well. So those are the main 2 platforms that I would be trying to create traffic systems for. Now, the 6th blogging mistake is you are not updating or optimizing your existing content. If you are to the point of scaling your traffic, I imagine you have a lot of blog posts on your blog. You want to make sure that you are utilizing those correctly. Do not neglect those. You did all of this work on your blog and have all this content, and if it's not serving you, then it either needs to go or be updated. But with some updating and polishing, it could be a gold mine for traffic. The good news is sometimes you don't need to always write new posts to get more traffic to your blog. You've just got to improve what's already there. So we want to go back into our Google Analytics and dive into the stats yet again. And you want to be looking at what posts have a high bounce rate, like we already talked about. And what posts have you been promoting actively, but they're not getting views. And don't forget to utilize Google Search Console if you aren't already. This tool is going to help you dig even deeper and find out what posts are ranking in search and bringing you traffic. It is a really cool tool that can be confusing to use, but if you look around it a little bit, you should be able to figure it out, because I figured it out just by fumbling through the platform and Googling what I didn't know. And you can see which ones are ranking and which ones are not getting any Google traffic at all. Then you can make a list of posts of the ones that you want to update. And don't be afraid to delete any posts entirely that are no longer fitting your goal. Just make sure that you be careful with this and you redirect the links somewhere else, because it's better to have a post on there that isn't getting a lot of traffic than it is to have a broken link that leads nowhere. So either try to link it to a post that works, that is similar, or just link it directly to your homepage with a redirect plugin. I have one, I think Rank Math is the one that I'm using to redirect my post, and that all of your 404 pages either go to your homepage or go somewhere else so that you don't have 404 pages on your blog. Once you do have a list of posts to update, you don't have to feel like you have to update them all at once. You can make it like a background task that you do when you're not super occupied with other tasks. And you can still post new content in the meantime, but it really depends on how much of a priority that you want to make updating your old content. Now, there is a lot more to blogging than most people might think, and it is a lot of work in the end. But if you work on these 6 blogging mistakes, you are going to have a better chance at having a lot more traffic without just creating new content every single week. A lot of these fixes are small and can be easy to do, so don't neglect them. And if you're interested in working with me to drive more traffic for Pinterest, make sure to check out the link down below in the description. Like this video if you like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!